principal and one teacher, and they alternate the day they come to school. The only couple I met in the school was on math day. She said he gave an assignment to students the day before. She only came to the school to pick the assignment. And the children were just dancing and dancing and jumping up and down. That was their day. And they said, child will come out. I want to write this year exam with children from Uromi Christi. They have a school very close to my house in the town here.
Can keep this one.
ACC.
Okay, I have one. Okay, all right.
The joy and the beauty of the Eastern. You know they only have the senior secondary school 3 teacher, the junior secondary school 3 teacher. The only teacher you have in ACC that's made the school to be prestigious and is hired and paid by the ACOBA, Old Boys Association. They have more than 50 teachers that are being paid by Old Boys Association. So we cannot continue like this. It is not that the children are not interested in education. It is because the system is not interested in the education of children. So the school can decide to remain at home for 3 months. Give annual holiday to students every day. Strike, ASU strike. Can we continue like this as a nation? And people now are buying their way to become president. Suddenly buying one vote for about 12 million. And when I said million, that the other day man stole a yam, they were giving 6 months imprisonment. But these politicians buy votes and selling votes against the law, it goes scot-free. Tomorrow we have one, yesterday we have a seminar in Abuja, and we're discussing issue of buying votes. And I said tomorrow we will harassing children, women, boys buying votes, selling their vote for 2,000 naira. I said those are retailers. The wholesale buyers, you let them. The delegates, you let them. And they are the one destroying our school. They are the one destroying our institution. So my dear, the situation is so bad that we have to rescue the children from the hands of these political bandits. It is with big pain that our state did that our government and community stakeholders in pursuit of power and material wealth have now become obvious or the consequence of neglecting to uphold educational rights of children. Permit me to inform you that social reform have turned to the works of education as part and objective to secure long-lasting peace throughout the world. That if you want peace to reign in the world, education is the answer. The resultant effect of the Second World War actually drew the attention of the globe to the neglect of child's right to education, which have served as a panacea to peaceful coexistence globally. When they discovered that the World War was occasioned by lack of education, after the World War, Second World War, they decided to promote education. And that is found that people have said, we have free education. I want to free education, free education, free education. They believe that that will remain man from ignorance, from brutality, to embrace civilization. Visionaries such as Maria Montellus claim that establishing peace is the work of education. In a speech before the European Congress for Peace in Brussels, she further declared that the role of education as permanent of peace, and claimed that the dilemma of world peace can never be satisfactorily resolved until we commence with the child by acknowledging their contribution to the formation of society. Abu Gandhi, the grandson of the Greek leader, supported this objective of education by stating that education should, I quote, help create not only a balanced and harmonious individual, but also a balanced and harmonious society where true justice prevails, where everyone is assured the right to live and the right to freedom. What differentiates us from animals is that we have right to freedom. And when this freedom is denied, as good as animal. End of that quotation. According to one Dina Lemon, children can ensure, and I quote, a harmonious, peaceful, and productive future for all. End of quotation. Through care and sound education that instill positive value. This vision of harmonious world that embodies our people is image of peaceful future, as expressed by their own scholar, require that we partner with young people to establish a foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. Convention in 1989. In an increasingly globalized and interdependent world, it is important to ensure that the next generation is well versed in critical topics such as sustainable development, human rights and dignity, social justice and peace. Education offers a viable platform for intentional engagement in an effort to promote sensitive communication and collaboration to secure a more politically stable world that offers opportunity for the optimal development of each child and their contribution to positive shaping of our world. So that during Jonathan's regime, I was very happy. I mean, to say that was the offense he committed to train the army in the established school for the army. We cannot leave that settle like I mean in the north to remain in that. The banditry will continue in our world, but the best to educate children on the right. If we could do to the great education in our world today, tomorrow will be worse than today. But not today, what we value is money. And that's what we are introduced to our children. And that is reason we find out that children without education now, they are killing their mother, they are killing their girlfriend, and even their father for money. You see where the value have shifted to because of education. They will carry gun, kidnap a man of 80 years old, ask for us. You see that of education. When we have education in place, these vices will reduce. A child in the school preparing to write exam, would he have time for his phone? The university students were left at home for 3 months. What would you think they will be doing within that 3 months? When their father and mother have gone to farm, they are not farmers, they are not cleaners. What would they be doing? And they have food. They will be with their food. Bible says, another man is devil sure. A paradise shift proposal to reform the current education system is offered to establish a global foundation of freedom, justice and peace proclaimed by United Nations Charter in 1945. These are accomplished through the alignment of education with the principle of universality, indivisibility, and interdependence, enshrined in the United Convention of Rights of the Child. By doing this, the purpose of education then is determined to enable the full development of critical literate rights-bearing citizens who together empower to uphold human rights and questions the root causes of social justice. It's only education that can liberate us. You know, like Professor Uromi said, that the Nigerian youth, they know the man, the politician who can rebuild and develop our economy. But they know those who will steal and destroy our economy. But they are busy campaigning for the criminal who will destroy our economy because of the peanuts. When the right education is given, they will be able to share able to abandon the peanut and pursue right development. This can only be accomplished when the education system are reformed to acknowledge and act upon the convention best interest principle, we recognize the inherent worth of each child. It is needless to say that intentional quantitative education of children encourage holistic development, because it serves as an approach to build strong foundation for children, emotional, social, physical, and mental development, which will prepare them for a lifetime. It is an avenue to learn respect for others, respect for belonging, as well as respect for the environment. It enhances equality through teamwork, and they become exposed to diversity, diversity of opinion, respect of opinion of others, as well as cooperate in achieving certain goals. We go have to sectors. When I was studying education, we were told that education is the means of transmitting culture, value, like societal value to younger generation. So if our children are not exposed to education, where would they now learn this? If our children today are giving birth to the bandit we talk about, where would they now get this value, societal value, that will help them to grow? Now, when we were younger, that when we misbehave at home, our children misbehave at home, and they are not able to be controlled by the parents, they will result in reporting some child to the teacher that will help to form the child. Because that is no longer happening now. The children are being abandoned. The children are not being exposed. Can we continue like this as people? No. So, it is to build on confidence and self-esteem, which will encourage children to explore their talent, skill, and interests. This self-discovery will help enable them to become self-sufficient and job creators in the long run, and therefore do not rely on the government. We will not say government cannot provide everything. I want to teach a child the way to go. When the school will not depart from me, the child can provide for himself. There is a need to review and adapt and align in current educational policies, curriculums, and pedagogy with the conventional principles which have been demonstrated in the Child Rights Act and law, and coming to incremental fulfillment of its legal and moral obligation of every child within their jurisdiction. Naturally, we say Nigeria child education, Nigeria system is going down, and the child is studying electrical engineering or mechanical engineering, and there is no workshop in university. Or the child is like a girl who came to do service in my office and read computer, and the girl could not on computer. He said, "Father, I have not seen computer before." So I bring the girl, and I told the girl, that was far back, 2008, and I bring her and said, "Why can't you have studied computer in school? Why can't you go enroll in computer?" He said, "In my village there is no computer firm." I said, "Okay, in the city where your school is located, Okopoli, there is no computer center to go and learn how to own computer. And you are a graduate of computer." He said, "There is no computer in school. Go to a engineering department. When the ASOS are on strike, you don't have anything in the department. Even the farm, agriculture, you don't have anything there. Someone may be teaching how to poultry farm in the classroom. That when egg is so you lay egg. Fishery in the classroom. That is the system we have. So, when we are talking about serious issue, we are talking about serious issue. The secondary school we have, they have lab. I mean, if no, very soon, children will now be going to Lumen Christi on excursion to see the laboratory. Did they have library? Is there any secondary school here with library?
Yes, we have.
How many? Igwebe? School. Do you have new books or outdated books? Also read books. Thank you very much. Let us continue. So there is a need to review our system, and there is a need to improve. There is e-library in computer. We don't look for this outdated library. When we are talking about 2022, we should not be wrong about this old system library.
We are talking about computerized library, where the children will came and go to the library and get the book they are looking for. That's the library I'm talking about. Maybe that is your pastor can destroy the library belief. It necessitates that adults trust children to shape a future that recognizes their inherent dignity and equal and inalienable right of all members of the human family. It further requires that adults listen attentively to and act upon the voices of children and equip them with the tools they need to construct and establish lasting world peace. The transition from the poor educational state is not a simple or instantaneous. It ends homogeneous effort of international, national, regional, and local stakeholders to consult with communities all around the world. This is not what we can do on our own. Now we're talking about e-library now, to have well-educated library where children can also consult and get something and know more about the society. In doing so, we can take part in fulfilling the legal and moral obligation aligned in convention and other statutes to achieve world peace. We can develop some policies as people. We may not follow the greater world policy, but in our local setting here, we can develop some policies and regulations in the country that will enforce child's right to education more practically, so that the education of children becomes inclusive. For now, let us sign into law some penalties for both parents and children roaming the streets, among practical terms, roaming the streets in the farm or market or hawking or begging in the streets, especially during school hours like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. We can make sure though. During school hour, you don't want to send your child to school, don't send them to farm. If you want to send your child to school, don't send them to market. If you don't send your child, don't let them walk. Between 8 a.m. during working days, school hours, let them be in school or you keep them in your house. That anyone on the street, the vigilante can arrest them. The civil defense can arrest them. Parents come and pay those children after the school hour. If a child is being arrested, there is a fine in the community. All that community can agree that if you see a child in the farm, report the parents to the young with a come elder, and they find the man 5 tubers of yam. So that will reduce. Say send every child to school. You can even summon them. You can even call village meeting to support those who cannot buy books and buy books for them and send them to school. Let us stay with a base school environment more conducive and safer above for learning and children friendly atmosphere. So when you go outside this country, when you see school, you see the way they cartoon on the wall and everything. But sometimes you go to our school, nothing. I know, thank God for the principal giving lecture here today, who was shaping the nomenclature. We're together in about to go to school. During our this school, we're inside boot. People will not understand. When they fall that book inside our locker, because they gave us books. That was the only time they gave us books. He tried, but there was no roof. But now we have roof. Say red roof, no teacher. So our own is even better, because teacher were teaching us, but now no teacher. He just put his student in the hall and there's no teacher. That is not a school. A school can only be a school when there is a roof, when there are chairs, and when there are teachers. But when there are chairs and there is a hall, it's not a school, but a hall. But when there is no hall, and there are students, and there is a shade, and there are teachers, and there are students, it's still a school, under Mango School. So if you decide to have a school with a red roof, without a teacher, it's not a school. More importantly, government at all levels should invest in education more than ever before and pay more attention to improve both quantitative and qualitative education ecosystem in Nigeria that will make teaching profession more attractive and fulfilling that will guarantee balanced environment for learning. When teachers they are happy, they can just do the job. When teachers are looking frustrated, they cannot do the job because the frustration in their body will be transferred to the children, and that will not help matter. So there the government work hard to make teaching job more attractive. Let all stakeholders' contribution within their domain towards education of children through their donation and support the system, not just support irrelevant games like Big Brother Naija. Big Brother Naija. They can support that, but they cannot support the education. You can buy presidential ticket with 100 million. These people are not serious. And they cannot support education. This is an appeal. I have another appeal. The admission school should be returned to their original owners with government annual support. Don't return the school like that. Return the school to the original owner with annual support. Their school will be affordable to all and sundry. The government have a right to train her citizens, especially children. In Europe, if you give birth to a child, you have no job. Government will pay you salary to feed your child. But in Nigeria here, we know how to collect all the tax like in Europe. But we don't know how to give the dividends of tax to the people. My dear brothers and sisters, that is the church of the language of the church. My brothers and sisters, we all gather here today for the common search on how each and every one of us can uphold the educational rights of children by collectively owning the process, not shifting their responsibility to a particular sector. All of us who can contribute our little part. It is an avenue to tackle and stop unequal educational status of children, especially due to poverty and child neglect. Uromi JDPCI has started this race by establishing 25 adolescent human rights clubs in 5 schools in each of the NGAs across Edo Central Central District and conducting any session with the club members. She has also empowered households of humble states for the purpose of retaining children in school, while the children of this household were given scholarship and supported with education material for better learning. We have over 200 children we have supported so far. We are even happy that one of those we have supported that graduated from secondary school is a final year in Igweben College of Education. Some are at university. We are very happy. We are talking about school retention because so that we don't go to traffickers or go to other crimes. As parents and teachers, as community stakeholders, what are our contribution for the protection of children, especially their right to education? As we hear today from our guest speaker, who will tell us more on this issue. My own is just a keynote address. I want us to listen with open mind and think of a way of forwarding, ensuring a better future for our children. And I end this talk with saying everything for the child's interest. May God bless us in Jesus' name.
Thank you very much, Father, for the keynote address. We would have been taking a video jingle now, but I think we can take that after we have taken the main lecture for today. And that is the presentation on a better future for every child, safeguarding children's right to education. What we have heard is not a lecture, but the background to why we are here today. And now we are going to be taking the presentation proper by very Reverend Father Dr. Theophilus Itama.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to stand on the existing protocol and to thank the organizer in this eye for setting it aside for the protection of children and their rights. And also for inviting me to share with you on how best to secure the future of our children and give securing their rights to education. There could be a topic to share with you, and we say it's a better future for every child, safeguarding children's right to education. Reflecting on this topic, there are few things that came to mind. First is the importance of education, the right to education. And that if we get that one right, then we are invariably or basically giving the children a better future. So I want to address and discuss this topic by following these rules which I want to share with you today. In the beginning, I want to give a brief introduction, 2 minutes. In that, I will explain that right to education, what it's all about. So we will find out the children who have idea of what it is right as a preparation. Then from there, I will take the lens and view this topic from the lens of access to education. Do children really have access to this education? And what is the problem we are having with access? Then I will take that same lens and look at it from equity in the learning process. Whether these children, they are all our children, but in the process of having or receiving this education, is that equity? Then I will take that same lens, look at this topic again, looking at the challenges in getting a quality education. The education we are struggling to give, is there a quality education, and what is the problem we're having with it? What are the challenges? All that we somehow expose the problem, stating the problem that we want to address. After doing that, I will now go to what is important to the fundamental rights, which is ours by nature. And I will take the fundamental rights, which are enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution, and relate it to education, to the children, how they are affected, and what is their rights. Then, after drawing those implications, I will take you through how we can secure a better future for our children through education, which is really the hallmark of this whole discussion. And then I will now suggest the way forward. Now, we go back like this. Our children, do you have an idea of what is just what we call child's right? Let's say you have a right to education. What do you understand about it? Any person? Yes. When you say child's right to education, what do you think we are talking about? I don't know. Okay, very good.
So my own understanding about child rights to education, it simply means the right that a child has to learn, to study, and to read, for him or her to know about his country, for him to have a better future.
Any other thing that children are saying? I want the 3 persons.
Child rights to education are certain rights which every human being or children have to learn and which must be protected by the government.
Very good. This is a good sign. Last person.
which every child has towards education that must be protected by the government.
Good. Now, it shows that you don't have idea of what child rights education is. So we are not talking to people who are just tabula rasa. So it's a good start, very big foundation we are going to build on. The first element I'm picking from what all of you have said, which is we are going to define or explain, is that education is a basic right. It's a basic human right. Emphasis human. Basic human right. You have a right to be educated. From that, you have right. Education is not just school, you know. Education starts from home. If you give birth to a child today and drop that child among animals in a cage and leave that child there, the kind of education that child receives is what the animal does not know. We talk like an animal, we hear like an animal, people listen to man. So it starts from the moment of it. So it's a human right. So it's very basic. The emphasis is basic and human right. Now, according to UNICEF, every child has the right to learn. It's a right that you have, you must know it. And it is established in the human rights of the UN Convention of the Child's Rights and other human rights instruments. If you look at UN 1946, and you look at the Council of Europe in 1950, all that religion has one simple fact, which Nigeria